Hey, business owners, we know you know the importance of maximizing every dollar. With the Delta SkyMiles Reserve Business American Express card, you can make your expenses work just as hard as you. From afternoon coffee runs to stocking office supplies and even team dinners, you can earn miles on all your business expenses. Plus, you can earn 125,000 bonus miles for a limited time through October 29th. The Delta SkyMiles Reserve Business Card. If you travel, you know. Minimum spending requirements and terms apply. Offer ends October 29th, 2025.
Yes, we're going to talk about it again. I know, we've talked about it a lot, but the reason we talk about it is,
we're talking
this
real
is a
money.
pretty important topic. I haven't told you what it is yet, but it's an important topic. I mean, think about this for a minute. 25% of retired Americans, 25% of retired Americans depend on this for pretty much all of their income. For between 90 and 100% of their income. 1 out of every 4 retirees depends on Social Security. So that's why we spend a lot of time on it. You ask a lot of questions about it. A lot of articles get written about it because it's important that you do it as well as you can do it given your particular situation and our lack of knowledge of the future. So what are we talking about? Yeah, Social Security. Hi, everybody. Don McDonald here in the Talking Real Money Florida studio. Tom Cock in the Talking Real Money made the Wall Street Journal town of Bellevue, Washington.
Read up about it. And by the way, Social Security, it's such a love-hate relationship, and we hear that from you. In fact, when I was thinking about this last night, I think it's probably the greatest love-hate relationship since the movie, maybe Romancing the Stone, or When Harry Met Sally, or maybe even Tom and Jerry. I mean, it's just...
Were those really love-hate? Didn't they become love-love?
Yeah, kind of. Anyway, I go back and watch it and figure it out. But the bottom line is, you left out one part of all the reasons why it's so important, and that is
I had to start the show.
Okay, It's still about 2/3 of us take Social Security before full retirement age. It's about 2 out of 3 people. Now, there may be some circumstance for some where it makes sense, right? You need the money, your health isn't good, your longevity it's not going to happen. Okay. But for most people, they still don't make good decisions. So yeah, we read a lot about this. We talk a lot about this, and 2 new pieces this week, one from the Wall Street Journal, and then one from the New York Times talking about Social Security. So, and I love these headlines because they're provocative. Wall Street Journal, why delaying your Social Security benefits may not make sense. In other words, one of the things we have told you, delay, and here it is telling you, don't delay.
That is such clickbait. That is such clickbait because if they know that people are going to, because so many people take it early, they're going to go, this will justify my decision. Click.
Yeah. And I'm sure it worked. It says, by the way, in the article that still only 10% of Americans waited until age 70. As I mentioned before, about 2 out of 3 claim it before full retirement age. But let's talk about some of the reasons the authors thinks, well, sure, that might make sense. And maybe you want to speak to this one, Don. the point that getting the bird in the hand is better than waiting for the till later, right? I mean, getting the money now, spending the money now, and not waiting around to see how things are going to work out, right? I mean, that's his reason.
That's such a human emotion thing, though. I mean, please give me a reason so that I don't have to wait. I need that instant gratification. Might as well get it now. And I am as guilty of it as anyone. I took my Social Security at 69.
That's pretty close, though.
But I missed it by a year. I just couldn't resist. I was looking at that. I'm going, geez,
I'll take it.
That's a couple of really nice vacations that we're never actually going to take because we have dogs and no one to watch them.
God. You bring the dogs out and drop them off here. We'll take the dogs. That's not a problem.
Okay, so I'm going to fly from Orlando to Seattle with dogs that can't really fly anyway.
Well, don't walk them here. That's a long walk. I'll put it that way.
I've driven them there. I've driven them there.
That's true.
And that was a long drive. Yeah. No, here's the thing. We love to have an excuse to take things early. And the Wall Street Journal article kind of bugged me a little bit, particularly their spurious argument that, well, you can make 5% after inflation on your money, so you might as well invest it.
Let's stop you right there. That is such an outrageous argument because we know You could, but we know you probably won't because very few people do.
Some of you will, but
Yep.
most people don't invest that well. Again, we're preaching to the choir. You guys, Talking Real Money listeners, generally speaking, are the kind of people who might get 5% after inflation with your portfolio because you're thoughtful about it. But we know the numbers for the rest of the world, and that's who this article was directed at. And come on, they're really stretching here.
Yeah, and speaking of stretching, they later in the article say, well, there's a 2025 study from the Retirement Income Institute that found retirees spend about 80% of their guaranteed predictable income, such as Social Security, but only spend 50% of their portfolio income. In other words, people are very comfortable with, as you said, Don, getting the regular check and spending it on 2 more vacations or whatever it is. But when it comes to drawing from their portfolio, they struggle with that more. And yes, we've seen that many times here, but what's the point of that? I mean, in other words, then you're left over, you have money left over, you didn't spend it during your lifetime. Okay, big deal.
Here's the problem. If this eludes a simple, and we're as guilty of this as anyone, this problem eludes a simple all-purpose answer. We can say, generally speaking, yes, you will have more money every month if you wait until full retirement age or later, up until 70. We know that's a mathematical fact. However, we don't know how long you're going to live. We don't know how long you're going to live healthily and happily. We don't know whether you're going to retire early or later. You see, for example, one of the arguments that was made was if you retire early and you use the money from your investment portfolio, you're now depriving yourself of that growth on that money. So you can make mathematical arguments either way. That's the lovely thing about math. You can change the parameters and get a different answer.
I think that's fair. I mean, the other part is, and we try to be careful to make sure you understand that you literally have to live about 10 years. You need to live till almost 80, Don, to make the numbers have worked. In other words, if you had taken at full retirement age, you wouldn't have had to live long to get the max benefit out of it, right? And we just had a client pass away in their late 70s, and I thought, well, I told them to wait till 70 and to take Social Security.
It didn't work out.
Didn't work out. I mean, it
Right.
doesn't always work out, right? So these things. But here's the other part of it. If you're
But
married
wait,
or in a
you're not
relationship,
you're not going to know when you're going to die.
no, very few do. But if you're in a relationship, and you and I have talked about this also ad nauseum. In my case, yes, my spouse is younger.
Because of you. That's
of
why
me.
we've talked about this. If we didn't have you as an object lesson, Tom,
For most things,
the cradle
a long
robber.
list, a long list. So I will pass away first. She will inherit my benefit, and it will really pay off under that circumstance. So that's one piece. But then there's this other one from the New York Times, from Jeff Sommer of the New York Times, talking about, again, a clickbait headline, America's most valuable asset isn't stocks or a home, it's Social Security. So is Social Security, Don, a payment plan, or is it truly an asset?
It's an income stream. This is one of the arguments we hear a lot from listeners is, should I factor in my Social Security as part of my fixed income portfolio? Is it a fixed income asset? Can you liquidate it and take all the cash?
Nope.
Then it's not.
You can't get a lump
Then
sum?
it's not. You see, here's the reason you think what you think, and I can see why Jeff Summers wants you to think the way you think, because traditional thinking on Wall Street is you buy income-paying vehicles to derive an income. We don't believe that should be entirely true. We think bonds, for example, fixed income portfolio, is there to reduce volatility as much, if not more, than it's there to generate income.
I think that's very well put. And the piece talks about how Social Security is the most valuable asset for 9 out of 10 households, that in total it's worth about $40 trillion to Americans.
Okay, let me get mine. Let me get mine and invest it then. If it's an
give
asset,
them a call. I'm sure.
Yeah,
well, there's nobody
want,
there right now, so you'll have to wait until next week.
I want the equivalent of whatever the cash value is of my Social Security income stream, and I'll invest it.
By the way, they also go through and talk about for higher income people who deferred claiming benefits until age 70, Social Security asset is worth over $1 million. I've never run the number for myself to say how big an asset is that. I think it's kind of silly.
The million. Right now, you can stop paying me.
You can stop the show and you'll go get the million.
No, I'm just letting the Social Security Administration know you can stop paying me. Just give me my $1 million, whatever.
I think
good luck. I'll take that.
I'll wait to hear how that call goes.
Then if it doesn't work, then it's not an asset. It's an income. It's a pension.
And it shouldn't be confused. I concur there. And then when you're working on your claiming strategy, get another opinion on it, right? You should, because there are professionals that think about it. And you're right, Don, there isn't one correct answer. The only correct answer we'll know is after you're gone. Consider your spouse. And then my big picture point on Social Security always is, for most people, it's going to make sense to wait, but you're not going to know. You don't know until the final bell has tolled, right? You've got to wait it out.
And I want to just add something, and I've mentioned this before, but I think it's worthy of noting over and over and over again. When you say get another opinion, the problem becomes finding the source for that opinion. Because most of the people providing that professional financial opinion are salespeople selling stuff for commissions. That is one of my biggest beefs with the financial services industry in this country and elsewhere, is that there is a sales profit motive coloring the advice.
Yeah, I think that's well stated. The other part of that is, and you see it, and we have it on a podcast coming up soon, even at the major firms, because we had somebody write us about one of the major firms where they'd worked with them for a long time, and then the rep said, "Oh, by the way, we have this lovely annuity that we think you should consider." It happens. You're right. You've got to find that fee-only 100% fiduciary advisor to help you.
And then they all claim they are now. That's the problem. They all claim
not
they
100%,
are now.
But they all claim that.
But
yes.
so many claim it. They whisper the 100% part, or they turn their heads to the side so that you can't see that they're not actually saying all the time. But it's like back in the day. Way back in the day when I was a young man and breaking stocks for a living, my cowboy days, my cold call cowboy days, we used to say no load funds. Did you hear that little F word in there?
Yeah.
It wasn't that F word.
No,
it
not
was
that
front.
one.
We said no load funds.
Got to listen.
I said the word
carefully.
front, kind of. No front load. There's loads. They're just not in the front.
Yeah.
People lie. Remember that. How can they get away with saying that? Because people lie.
They get away with it. That's why.
Yeah.
All right. Question time. Suzanne from Detroit, Michigan writes, "Hi, Don and Tom. We assumed she would go away to college, but commuted instead, and that resulted us in overfunding their daughter's 529. This year, we did the first rollover portion of the 529 to her Roth IRA, leaving a balance of $60,000 in the Schwab account. She has now decided to go for an advanced degree in midwifery. The cost is going to be about $120,000 and will take 3 years to complete. She would need to borrow $60,000 to fully fund the degree if she uses the existing funds in the 529. Question: whether it makes sense to keep doing the max Roth rollovers each year from her 529 to potentially borrow more, or to stop the rollovers so she borrows less. In other words, should you be taking the money and putting it aside in the Roth, or should you be using it to pay for the education?
This is one of those things where the answer is my favorite answer of all time. It depends. It depends a lot on the terms of the student loans.
Yeah, and I hate these, especially these advanced degree student loans, because many people still end up paying them off into their 50s. You see it on a regular basis.
It really, though, it depends a lot on the interest rate and the terms of the loan, more so the interest rate. If it is a subsidized rate in the low, below 5 range, then funding the Roth long term is probably a nice hedge against this midwifery thing not working out.
Is it low demand for midwifery right now? Isn't that a baseball expression? Isn't it midwifery?
No, it's midwifery.
Okay, stand corrected.
Yeah, I know it's British. They have different ways.
I apologize for my mispronunciation. So
no, it's okay. Midwifery, potato,
I would
potato.
prefer to see people not borrow. So in my take,
I know you would, but think about the math of it, though.
I know it's tricky.
We're taking money.
Yep.
And we're putting it into a vehicle that, if left alone, has the potential, historically, has the potential to earn 7 or 8% after inflation.
Yep.
After inflation, tax-free.
That's the key there. Right. That's going to grow for 30 plus years.
Wow. Yes, if you're paying, if you've got a 10% student loan, no. Pay that. Take the money from the 529 for that. But if you can get a 2 or 3%er, I'd take the loan.
And what is a subsidized federal loan? I don't even know what that is.
You're asking me like I know.
Well, you would be the guy that I'd ask. Is there somebody else coming by? I mean, I don't know.
My kids are. Well, you've got kids going to college.
She's not going to borrow any money.
No, because Dad's rich. I know.
No, I don't. About that. Dad's been a good saver for her too, by the way. So
how much? Yeah, you put a lot in 529.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I will be fishing 35,000 of that out for her Roth IRA over time as well, because I think it's a great strategy from 529. And you're right, what a running start for a young person.
And that's why I have such an issue with which to do with that. Let's see. Right now, the federal grad school rate, is set at almost 8%. So in that case, I would probably use the 529 money. Although there are, let me look here. Yeah, SoFi is offering, can that be right? They're offering some rates at below 4 for grad student loans, according to this. But
so, that'd be 5% would probably be my cutoff.
5% would probably be the cutoff. Yeah. I agree. It's because then you start getting into the risk reward equation, and so if it's below 5, if you can find that, cool. And otherwise, you've got the 60. That's kind of nice.
Yeah. All right, from Exeter, New Hampshire, Kettle writes us, thank you for the show. You educate your listeners every time. I've been an active listener for the last 5+ years. I've written in questions before, and you've read them up on the show. I have a new question for you. I have a rollover IRA where I have a diverse portfolio, and he went through the funds FSPVX. I'm not going to read all of them, FISVX, etc. And by the way, we'll talk about those in just a moment. They're all mutual fund. My question, can I, without getting a huge tax bill, move from FSKAX, as an example, to VTI? Oh, by the way, he says, I'm from Norway, and my name is a very common one for boys. Thank you for the show. Best regards. In other words, can you make these moves inside of your rollover IRA?
Oh, inside of a rollover IRA? Yeah, of course.
Yeah. There's no tax.
There's no taxable event outside of an IRA and a taxable account. You couldn't go from Fidelity to Vanguard without a capital gains event. But
by the way, some of the funds you mentioned here, Kettle, the FCPVX, which is small cap value, and the FISVX, which is also small cap value. One is a 0.91, 91 basis point
Sounds like
charge.
An actively managed fund.
I think it's kind of spendy. Then you've got the second one is also small cap value and more than 0.5%. Now, you do have some nice index funds in there, emerging markets, international index, total bond. Those are good. So I don't know why you're moving from the funds to VTI, but VTI would be far cheaper for sure.
Far cheaper.
And it'll be easier to manage.
What was the 0.9 fund?
That is FCPVX.
FC. Okay, yeah, that is the Fidelity small cap value actively managed.
Right.
Their pick and stock fund with a relatively small portfolio of like 94 stocks.
Yeah. So
and so the risk is high.
Yep.
you've got very little diversification. You're paying a ridiculous price for it when you could go and get a nice small cap value fund from Vanguard or Dimensional or Avantis that is not actively managed.
That's good. You finally, that's smart. It's not active management. It's active management. Now you finally hit it.
Actively active management.
I like it. Okay, we finally struck on that. That's good. We'll call David Booth and give him that name. I like that.
Now,
actively active. Well done.
The Fidelity Small Cap Value has slightly outperformed its index, but that's again because of the fact that it takes on more risk in having that less diversified portfolio. So, yeah, it's been a very, very good fund. So I'm not opposed to the fund itself. It's done well. I just don't. Again, we don't believe active management is likely in most cases to win out because of the higher expense ratio.
Yeah, so I would move that over.
It's all about likelihoods.
We have time. Indeed. Time. Okay, from Enum Claw, Washington, where I just drove through on my way to Mount Rainier.
Was that a smart-ass comment?
Pretty much, yeah. Jordan writes us, he says, "Hi, Don, Tom, and Roxy. I recently changed jobs. My new employer is an employee-owned company with the opportunity to purchase company stock within my 401k through an ESOP program."
Uh-huh.
I always forget the ESOP.
Employee Stock Ownership Program.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. I can receive up to a 5% match in company stock in my 401k as part of my benefits package. Vesting is 100% in 3 years. Stock can only be purchased or sold one time a year. Based on, okay, here's the important part. Based on what I observed so far, the company culture is based around employee ownership, where each person is contributing to the collective success of the group. Now, okay, whether or not the employees own the business or not, they're probably still contributing to the collective success of the group. Not to pick on you.
Exactly. If you're not an employee, those that aren't employee-owned, all of the employees, they
that's
contribute.
What I'm saying. But that's fine.
If they don't contribute, they usually get laid off.
The company is large, has international offices, continued to grow steadily over the last 15 years, although I understand there's no guarantee of future growth or success. How would you recommend approaching the ESOP program? I feel I should take advantage of the matching contributions. Love the show. Listen nearly every day. So if you arrive at a firm where and by the way, this is just one method where you're going to get shares. There's a whole bunch of other ones. Here's the way I look at it. How much of your portfolio, your holdings, your savings should be invested in the company in which you're relying on for your income and now going to rely on for your retirement as well?
Not a very high percentage.
I know. What's the magic number there?
I don't know. I'm thinking below 5.
I was going to say 5 at max.
Yeah, below 5. But here's the thing. It requires two things. Two things. One is a strong stomach for volatility. Individual stocks can be wilder rides than the whole market, generally speaking. 2, discipline. Since you can sell in 3 years, every 3 years I would have a sale planned, and you need to have some tax planning associated with that sale planning so that you can find ways to offset some of that. Wait, is this in a retirement?
Yes, in his 401k. So.
It's in the 401. Then you don't have any tax issues because you can have an ESOP outside. But if it's an ESOP inside, then every year, starting in year 3, so when you start in 2025, in 2028, 2029, whenever that vests, you need to make that one sale of every single thing that is available to be taken out. I don't care how well you think your company is doing, because the whole point of doing this is to take advantage of the 5% free money.
I think that's excellent advice. And for full disclosure, Don and Tom own part of the company for which they work.
And Don has started a selling out strategy.
There goes the price. You just killed me, man. You went public.
Well, I'm getting flipping old, dude.
I know. But I'm hanging in there. I got a few more years before.
Well, he's younger than I am.
But we have
I know it doesn't sound like it, When you hear us on the podcast, you're going,
know us, you wouldn't
wait.
so.
He acts like the older guy.
That is very true as well. Yeah.
It's just because he's more mature than I am.
No, I wouldn't have said that either. I got 1 foot.
My wife would say that.
Cold Lake. But I would have a strategy. I like that and a discipline because we both have that with our situation. We know kind of when we're going to sell the shares, how that's all going to work. We've done the tax planning to some degree. So, but yes, I would think that through, and I wouldn't go above the 5% for any individual stock, especially the company which you work for, no matter how.
We're talking about your whole portfolio, by the way.
I think that's right.
Pre and post tax assets.
Exactly. So, great questions. Keep them coming. Keep coming. It's been nice talking to so many of you this last couple of weeks. So
He really likes it.
I do. I enjoyed it. It really makes my life better. So. Because they call and they want to talk to me. It's not like my kids, my wife, where they have to talk to me. That's a different.
Or me.
You have to. That's true. We have our daily call where you, oh God, okay.
I go.
Give him a little time.
See, it's 9:29. Will he make it before 9:30? And almost always, unless he's not feeling well. If he's not feeling well, he come in at 9:31.
Yeah, I know. I could be a little late from time to time.
9:31. 9:31's about as late as he gets.
Yeah. I remember the one time was one day when I didn't do it at all. You sent a note that I'm sending out the cops or something.
Well, I was going to have to do a wellness check. There's just, you never don't call.
I know. So I'm on time. Anyway, if you'd like help from us, go to talkingrealmoney.com. You can click on contact us. You can click on meet an advisor. Whatever way we can help you, we're here to do that. Let's put it that way.
And on Saturdays, we have a radio conversation. We have a good old-fashioned radio talk show, boys and girls.
Remember that terrestrial, got the towers and everything? Crazy,
it's the
right?
Talking Real Money Roundup on Saturdays from 3 to 5 Eastern Time on Mini Station. No, just one.
No,
just one station,
AM
and then
FM.
it becomes
AM
one of
and
them,
FM.
their newfangled podcasty things. You know them. So give us a call on Saturday at 3 at 855-935-TALK, because that's what we do on Talking Real Money.
The opinions and views expressed on this podcast were current on the date recorded. Opinions, estimates, forecasts, and statements of financial market trends that are based on current market conditions constitute our judgment and are subject to change without notice, including any forward-looking estimates or statements which are based on certain expectations and assumptions.
Although information and opinions given have been obtained from or based on sources believed to be reliable, no warranty or representation is made as to their correctness, completeness, or accuracy.
Information presented on the podcast is not personalized investment advice from Appella Wealth. The views and strategies described may not be suitable for everyone. This podcast does not identify all the risks, direct or indirect, or other considerations which might be material to you when entering any financial transaction. Past performance does not guarantee future results, and profitable results cannot be guaranteed. We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for informational, educational, and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. The podcast is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Appella Wealth, a fee-only registered investment advisor.
Please see Appella Wealth's ADV Part 2A on our website for information regarding Appella's fees and services.
Appella Capital, LLC, DBA Appella Wealth, is an investment advisory firm registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. The firm only transacts business in the states where it is properly registered or excluded or exempt from registration requirements. Registration with the SEC or any state securities authority does not imply a certain level of skill or training. Appella does not provide tax or legal advice, and nothing either stated or implied here should be inferred as providing such advice. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and important disclosure related to performance of any specific index or fund quoted in this podcast. I think I need a nap.